Namaste. Myself, Dr. Soumya Muganavad. I'm a Chief Consultant and Diabetes Steward at KV, Jayanada Valley. I'm over here today to talk on a topic, diabetes control and remission. So most of the patients being diabetic and not ending up with a complication is always seems like a blessings. Because diabetes has become, as we all know, we know the statistic, India is running and it is highly populated with diabetic patients, and diabetic complications has become much more in more than the diabetic patients. We are able to see about diabetic complication cases post COVID kind. Like post COVID, many pre-diabetic patients have converted as diabetic patients. Maybe because of a lot of reasons that could be metabolic, their lifestyle, there was no proper exercises at all. And there are people who have really started in vigorous exercises because they were on rest for a year or two. So whatever the reason might be, but being diabetic and not getting into complication is always a blessing for a diabetic patient. Because diabetic, till the time you really will get into a diabetic complication, you always feel like diabetes is really not hurting. And when there is that diabetic complication, starts a diabetic patient's life. So before I go over there, I want to talk about the control. So in this video, I'm not talking anything about the reversal. I'm talking about the control and the remission. The people who have been controlling that and remission of that controlling. That is like going back to uncontrolled levels of diabetes. So let's see like which are the contributing factors for that. Majorly, as we all know, the people who have a blood pressure along with diabetes, the people who have a cholesterol, that especially their triglycerides are high, and they have already an anti-hypertensive medications, and they are all blood thinners, aspirin, or any kind of supporting medications. These people are more prone to get into complications. So let's see like which are patients like who end up with another kind of complication. There is two category. Being diabetic could get you into a complications. Like you could always have a double the chance of stroke or maybe a heart attack. When I compare to non-diabetic patient. But if I have to speak about the diabetes category of complications, then the people who are suffering from diabetic has their a list of complications like maybe neuropathy or a retinopathy, something which is related to your eye. But in diabetic patients, we start developing a high retinopathy. It's not only a retinopathy, you might also start the complications like you're more prone for these complications. I would say that is a better word to present it. That would be a glaucoma, could be a very common piece of what we could see. The cataract chances are high, or it might start early in the diabetic patients. And yeah, there will be more of a vision related or a blindness. You're more prone for that. Coming to our kidney damage. So that is about nephropathy. So most of them, like when I compare to a non-diabetic patient, the kidney damage or patient ending up with the dialysis, the higher chances with the diabetic patients are at least I would say 50%. It is higher the chances to end up with that particular renal diseases. So it may not be only the kidney failure, or it could be like different kind. It could be like chronic kidney diseases they might start with, or maybe the creatinine would never come down in spite of the sugar levels are really under control. So that is a more complication. And also we see like more for amputations. So amputations also happens in non-diabetic patients also. But the chances are again double when it comes to diabetic patients. So so onto this diabetic patients are more prone for gum diseases. So they generally get into a painful gum bleeding. They won't initially notice that. They feel like it could be a general bruise or something, but they start getting that repeatedly. And they that gum bleeding would lead that to a bad smell from their mouth. So that's where the complication starts. Like your talking time starts reducing. That is where they end up with the foot ulcers or non-healing ulcers, which would later lead to amputation. So majorly the diabetic control and the remission, controlling the diabetes will always make sure that you will not end up in the complication. That era is lower. Like, even though your blood sugar levels are under control, we are still able to see the patients ending up without complications. So if you ask me, doctor, then what is it exactly the control and how we can take care of the avoid the remission? See, controlling your sugar levels to avoid the complication. You don't keep that in your head only controlling the sugar levels would lead you or get you out of the complications. I'm listing out to you the possibility of complications in diabetes patients. So I'll come to that point later. So with all this, there are like two kinds. One is you feel like because of the diabetes, these all other issues start. One way it is right. But the people who have a poor sugar levels of ending up with the complications, they have to see in another way about the diabetes is. Like, maybe the diabetic wellness and the control, maybe your A1C is definitely below 7% and you're able to maintain the same below 7 for years together, maybe 5 to 10 years of your diabetic life. Still, then how did you end up with the complication? So that is where it counts. Controlling sugar level is not a complete solution. Control all other risk factors, what I listed now. That's where I started listing out the possibilities. So you should always make sure your cholesterol levels are also under control. Because there are patients who say, Doctor, my sugar levels are all good, but the only thing is my triglycerides are not coming under control. So you have to make sure your lipid profile is doing good. So you can get it tested in maybe every 6 months and get to know if we have any other symptoms related to that. That would also be if you have severe insulin metabolism. The second thing is making sure that your blood pressure is doing good. So the circulation, your heart has to pump. What is blood pressure? It's just like when you have a pipe where the water flows. The pressure decides. That is where, depending on the pressure, the people, get the water into that, the power required for the water to pump that. So if you are trying to push 100 gallons of water, let's say at a 2 or 3 inch of a pipe, the pressure it comes is quite high. And it starts flowing at the same way for a longer duration. What happens? It has to burst out. That is where you have to make sure your blood pressure is under control. If not, then you will have many other, as I said, the thumb reading that could also be a benefit of your arterial blood circulation issues. So you have to make sure your blood pressure is also doing with the cholesterol. The control and what needs a place for all these things. It's not only a place for the sugar levels. And the next comes making sure that you are what you make the possible medication. So you're not increasing your dose of medicines and getting these under control. No, that doesn't make any sense. For example, if you start with more of a high cholesterol medications or blood thinners, and then you will tell me, was it the control? Then also you will end up in a complication. So try to minimize the internal medications, whatever you're taking. And so what possibility is that, especially that in type 2 diabetes. So the people who is not able to come under the category of reversal, then you have to understand the ways to control it. It's not only controlling your sugar levels would make sure that it will never get you to complications. So the next point, Dr. Satolis, that is the case, I should not be using maximum more medications, but I still have to take care of all these things along with my sugar levels. Then how do I achieve that? So that is where the real challenge comes. So I'll just brief you on that. Then I'll go back to how to make sure your remission can be avoided. So the first and foremost thing we have to understand with the healthy weight. So what is healthy weight? We always go with the body mass index for your height, for your age. What should be the weight? So there are some people who seems healthy even though they are 3 to 4 kilos more than their BMI. Then that was okay. That is not really a kind that can have to be worried. So that's not the alarming kind of a weight. But if you're really ways or borderline, then it is a time you have to make sure. Or let's say you're just overweight also and being diabetic, then definitely it is time for you to make sure you're reducing your weight. So if you ask me to how will I reduce my weight, should I cut down my food? Never ever do that. Negative effect on your proteins because your body is surviving and that might be a required quantity of proteins to your body. So that is where a goal comes of. Just don't blindly follow some diet. The many of my patients, they speak about intermittent fasting, they speak about eat-to-diet, they speak about many other they have a nutritionist who tells them, and there are patients who weighs the food and have. Like my doctors asked me to have a 100 grams of chicken for the lunch, so I have to cut that. Now, I could never say that you have to quantify the food, but you have to always make sure the quality check is being done. So, whenever you leave your body, what is the minimum requirement for a human or for a male or a female and for their body mass index? According to the BMI, how much is required? That is the one thing. Second thing, your food, you should also continue depending on the energy spike. For example, a person like me who will sit from morning to evening, maybe it's more of a sitting there at the job or like interacting, but I'm also spending my energy where my brain works more than my physical body. But if you are kind of like maybe any driver or maybe a person who is into marketing stuff, he keeps roaming around, then your energy loss is more of physical loss, or you might be taking up some weights, you might be cleaning the things, so you sweat a lot. I mean, your physical energy is being spent, so your brain energy is spent less. So depending on that, the energy loss, you have to decide how much carbs you have to eat. So that also depends on your lifestyle. So that is, I'm telling you, the major headline you could consider to some true diet is very important. And the diet is not only to control the sugar levels. You should also make sure what is increasing bad cholesterol in my body, or what is increasing the triglycerides in my body. What am I adding there? What kind of a food am I adding in my diet, which is really shooting up in that way. So you have to consider these all the points and then decide. And it's not only the physical exertion, you should also make sure that you're also doing some exercises, at least cardio. So whenever you do a cardio, that is a best to take care of your inputs, I mean cholesterol, blood pressure, as well as your sugar level. So you have to choose some exercises which would address all these things as well. And if it also you're suffering from that. And coming to females who is like, who got that, there is one more complication. If you are a pregnant woman, then you would have many other pregnant. You might have you might deliver a baby. If you're diabetic, that you might also have a preeclampsia. Your baby would shoot out. So you have best chances of having a natural delivery, I mean normal delivery. You might have other cesarean. So these are also complications. So you have to make sure, like if it all is a lady with any other hormonal imbalance, it's not only diabetes, she's also having thyroid issues. Or she might also have a PCOS or any other irregular periods, so something which is related to your hormones. Then the control level is different. There you have to give more importance for spending the energy than the intake, like how much you're able to work out, how much you are able to make the exercises, your physical body to get strained more, because then only you can make your metabolism increase. There, how much sugar, because there are patients who suffer from hormonal imbalance, especially with this PCOD. They say thyroid, they say like, doctor, how much of a diet I do? I can't lose a kilo of weight. If I wait for 2 to 3 months or so, I found he might be, then go down to 500 grams to 800 grams. So why is that? Because in those hormonal imbalance, you just can't start away the diet. You have to make sure you are also achieving the exercises, or you are burning out that. So you have to concentrate more on exercises in these cases. That is where the control happens. So that's all about the diet and how to achieve the control. So that's about the diet and the exercises. So then comes the lifestyle. Instead of it, okay, as an eating control that of doing this exercises, will I be able to capture all the factors other than this diabetes? Yes, sugar, your cholesterol levels, blood pressure, yes. That can be achieved most of the time with maximum following up with the diet and exercise. But the third thing is about your lifestyle. Because whatever you do, your stress contributes to every disease. Let's start repeat that we are in a variation of the percentage. Maybe in gastric issues, with stress might be contributing only 20%. But when it comes to our hormonal issues, PCOD stuff, your stress would directly contribute up to 50%, and then they might have so much of mood swings. They call it as an emotional breakdown. There are many things, and there are also people who end up with the kind of anxiety and the depression. So that also depends, like what kind of disease is associated. But then comes a lifestyle. That is a third thing. So patients ask, doctor, how would I achieve these things? Whatever you say, they will understand. But how I do it? What I said is like, it goes from individual to individual. Every time diet doesn't mean it is only depending on the quantity of the calories your nutritionist is. No, it depends on many other factors like what your BMI, your body weight, your energy span, your the work. Whatever your profession you are at, what kind of work you're doing to be routine. And what is the stress levels and how I'm sleeping. Like, it is very important to give equal importance to a diet, and the sleep is very much, it plays a huge role in your diabetes control and the remission as well. So it's like the patient says, like, Dr. I go to bed around 11:30, 12. No, I have never heard anybody, I would say out of 5 patients, one patient might be say 10 o'clock. That is the earliest time they could tell us, because they reach home itself is the 8:30, 9 o'clock. So their dinner goes after 10 o'clock. And post-dinner, that definitely they can't go to bed directly, so they try to spend some time or to collect the things, and they end up by, well, or at least minimum was 12. So it's almost you are sleeping the next day, and you're postponing your sleepovers to every day to next day. And I say, whenever your body goes to bed, close to 10 o'clock, I would say, by 10 you should be asleep. There are many other dosha imbalance happens in your body. So, and the sleep is always takes care of your stress level. For example, today I have stressed up to 50%, and I was sleeping at 10 o'clock. Tomorrow I stress up to 20%, and that day I'm sleeping at 10 o'clock. Day after tomorrow, I'm stressing up to 90%. Still, I sleep at 10 o'clock. Then there is a possibility you have a fixed sleeping hours. I was sleeping time. So I definitely know, because they asked, doctor, I sleep 6 to 7 hours. I don't want to sleep for 6 to 7 hours. I feel I'm saying, don't quantify. It is just like your diet. Try to quantify. Try to sleep at 10 o'clock till 4:30, till 5 o'clock in the morning. Then if you have at 5 and then start your day, there is no problem. Whatever the exercises you're not able to do at the end of the day because you're working, then go ahead to the morning exercises, morning workouts. I admit it could be a seasonal cheaters, because the rainy is not really for our thing to go in the morning. And they use different words, I'm more a morning person. I agree, but disease doesn't look into a morning person or late person, night person, and it doesn't work in that way. Once you have got it, then you have no other option. You have to get out from your comfort zone and make the options available which would take care of your health as a comfort zone. So that's our main problem with diabetic patients, because they understand they just have to control their sugar levels. So to do that, they just have to make sure that eating the food with the minimum quantity. So because they will just keep up, maybe it is 30 minutes of walking or so. And the other thing what runs in their head is keep repeating the diagnostics and keep checking it, like whether it's under control, whether it's under control. Otherwise, I won't really see them. And yeah, they keep increasing their medications. There are patients, they say, doctor, I lost one complete contents. So I have started my metformin for extra for my mind. After food. It's a way website for decided, because they know that they won't keep taking the medicines forever. till the time I'm alive, I might take the medicine. So they have decided they would go in that way. So you should not be of that. So the controlling includes the diet, the way I said is the diet, and the exercises, and then comes to your lifestyle. That includes the sleep, the stress levels, the way you want to live your life. I always say to my patients to control, these are the things. To avoid the remission, I'll tell you few more things like how to make sure that this control is not coming to a remission. That is a pain. Whatever you have done to achieve the control, you have to make sure you are carrying that or those habits forever till the time you're alive. You have to do it. There is no other way out. There is no other shortcuts to avoid the remission. And the second thing is, see, when it becomes your habit, for example, I eat only vegetables or cooked vegetables or vegetables for my breakfast, and then you eat that. Once in a while, you had a full that's okay. I mean, but you should know, like, but I lifted up a full because I might under chores and they are like, I will never wanting to a remission. Push it yourself. If not, then go ahead. But don't do that every day. Have it like weekly once, weekly twice. So remission, to avoid the remission, what requires is the only thing is discipline and a routine, fixed routine for your life. Discipline is something like you should not go out of the things. So you should always make a routine timetable. This is what I say to my patient. See, initially when the patients comes to me when they are with uncontrolled sugar levels, I'd ask them to follow the diet products or uneven products for at least 3 months. So then say, doctor, I can never eat my meat again. I can never eat my fish again in my life. You definitely eat because you have been eating that from your childhood and I don't want to stop it. When your body is accepted by then, it will accept now. So the only thing is you have to make sure where the things has gone wrong. So for example, let's say you're 35 years old. All the 35 years you have eaten whatever you want and your grinder has been working 24/7, though, however you were giving the pressure. But now what it is asking you is to just to slow down the pressure. So how do you do that? Just try to do. Like if you are having the food every day, make it weekly twice or make it weekly thrice depending on your remission rate. You don't have a remission report, then you give it twice and this stone acid. And your body will understand, your craving, your tummy will also understand after a month, 2, 3, 6 months, take a year time. The problem is when you have made up your mind to live with diabetes, you're forever, then what's wrong with taking 1 year out of your life? You have to leave that 50. With diabetes, without diabetes, you have a life to be. Then you have to make sure, how am I doing it? So to make sure the remission, it is not coming back. You have no other option other than making sure the discipline, what you have followed, the factual. Those things has to become of your lifestyle. That is why diabetes is called as a metabolic disease as well as a lifestyle disease. Now we have thought that anything that latent diabetes in you that is coming as a kind of hormonal issues also. So immunity issues. So it will go into a autoimmune disease one day is no wonder because you should be knowing that autoimmune diseases may be like arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. These are all the diseases like degenerative. So if the diabetes is also comes under that category, then you're done. We just can't do anything. It's like you can never have an option or for interview. I'm talking for type 2 diabetes. The only people who have a reversal was with this type 2 diabetes. You will also end up over there where there is no reversal possibility at all. So at least then the people who doesn't believe in reversal or if doesn't fit in that reversal category, at least try to understand how to control and make sure the remission is being avoided so that you will not end up with the diabetic complications. Because please understand, diabetes will always take off at least minimum 10 years of, it reduces 10 years of your expected lifespan. So what am I doing to save that 10 years is at least the basic step is to control and make sure avoiding that remission. That's what is important. So this is all about the topic today. control and remission of diabetes. How to do it, I have explained on the way, like just a diet, exercise. That's not the way. Please understand, everything is individualized. If that is the case, diabetes is a disease, but it varies from a person to person. The people with the same lifestyle, same routine, maybe a siblings, still they have a different sugar levels in their body. There is a different fluctuation. So what is it happening? That is how the treatment, the controlling way, it is also a customized work. So you just can't follow somebody else's following the keto diet. He's just diabetic and we lost so and so kilos. No, it doesn't mean it has to work in your case. If it works also, it might be leading to another side effect or find this or another complication. You should be always careful about it. Never if it generalize. And the problem with the Indian diabetic patients is taking diabetes is, well, very easy, very easy. They would never feel that's kind of a life-threatening disease. I agree it is not, but it is going to be soon if you start treating the diabetes in the same way. So the sort of total remission of diabetes, I've covered many other about the reversal and all in my other videos. Thank you.